Today's video is sponsored by Aura, and we're really excited to introduce them to you because they are basically like the Swiss Army knife of identity protection. Do you know that identity theft is the fastest growing crime in America? With there being a new victim every 14 seconds, you need someone watching your back, and that is where Aura comes in. Aura is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, password management, antivirus, and even a VPN. Phew. That's a lot. Aura combines all that into one easy-to-use, time-saving app, which is great for us because we want to spend our time making fun content for you. You might already have one of these services, but if you don't have all the tools, it'd be like locking the front door but leaving the back door wide open, which is absolutely a sin. Aura is making it simple to try out their identity-protecting services with a 2-week free trial right now at aura.com/CinemaSins. The link to protecting yourself and your family from Cinnable identity stealers is in the description below.
Once Upon a Time.
Starting the continuation of your story with a Once Upon a Time. Also, haration.
The birds weren't singing, the fish weren't jumping, for everyone was gathered to celebrate two very special people.
Sounds like you're insinuating that every single bird and fish in the area is at this wedding. But if you put all the birds here, they'd block the sun. Not to mention turn everything into some sort of bird-dropping base Jackson Pollock painting. And where are you even putting the thousands of fish, huh? Are they the main course?
And what can only be described as a storybook wedding.
Get it? Because we're in a book? This is a book and the narrator is reading from the book that we're in because it was a book and now it's a movie that's based on a book but it's really a movie. Wearing a jacket and only a jacket to a wedding. No one at the wedding questions how Scotty Bones and Kirk here were trained to throw these flowers and walk B down the aisle. Is everyone else seeing 3 rabbits? It's just me, isn't it? While we're at it, the first movie made it sort of ambiguous as to whether humans were fine with animals wearing clothes and having very human characteristics, but this movie has animals as actual wedding guests sitting alongside the human guests, and this all seems perfectly normal. Is everyone vegetarian now? Because I'm willing to bet half these people have eaten some of the other guests' extended families. Movie inadvertently makes me ponder the biological mechanics of this relationship. I hope it was accidental, movie.
When I put, did I?
Best man thinks he's lost the wedding ring cliché. Look, just because the jokes can write themselves doesn't mean they should. Are they throwing rice at a wedding where birds are literally invited attendees? I don't care if it's an urban legend, that's still like serving Pop Rocks and soda at an event you've invited John Gilchrist to. Holy shit, Bea and Thomas make the odd choice of taunting their rabbit family by dragging their favorite food in the dirt. Whoever designed this sign should really get an award, some sort of a POS trophy, perhaps.
You just take this out?
Cot teases.
But every story can only have one good guy.
Or, in this case, none.
Oh, the mail! Choose to see who gets it.
And now these rabbits will play a game of chest, toe, ears, tail to decide who gets to go receive the mail, which A, has no discernible rules, B, has no discernible humor, C, has no discernible reason 5 rabbits would fight over who gets to walk to the door to take the mail from the mail carrier,
Oh, the mail!
and D, they would call it the post, you American idiot.
He doesn't listen to me, that's the problem.
Not in front of him, okay?
He can't understand me, can he?
If he can't understand you, how do you expect him to listen to you and do as you say? Also, you literally talk to each other in the 3rd act of the last movie. Listen here, I don't blame anyone for not wanting to watch James Corden's Peter Rabbit again, but most of us aren't trying to make a sequel. This fox head decoration is terrifying, and are you zooming in on it? Why would you zoom in on it? I just said how terrifying I thought. Oh God, is it staring at me? Its eyes are eating into my soul. I can't look away. Tell my loved ones I died doing what I love. Sitting a movie for arbitrary meta jokes. Peter's just hanging out here in the back of the truck and somehow doesn't fall off. No, I'm not sinning the physics of it. I'm literally just sinning that Peter Rabbit doesn't fall off of a speeding truck in this scene. Zack Snyder's Peter Rabbit. And the director said, let's have Peter take a bite out of a rotten apple in this scene, because how else will we make the audience puke at the same time as making sure they know he's an asshole?
I can't believe this might actually turn into something.
If by something you mean a series of beloved children's books that are bastardized into 2 incredibly average movies inspired by Deadpool and a particularly unamusing turd, then you are correct.
Miss you, Dad.
Here comes Peter Cottontail skipping. It is hard to encompass how unsettlingly unfunny this movie is. Just imagine this scene goes on for 90 minutes this way and you may well be getting close.
Lavatory.
Toilet humor. It's not just that she somehow ends up outside the window, or that she is defying gravity so intensely even Idina Menzel would be jealous. It's that they somehow didn't see her leave the train and are surprised she's out there. How would they miss her exit when they were literally looking right at her?
I'm gonna live forever!
If I'm ever killed by a tunnel while hanging on to the outside of a train as my family watch, I sincerely hope the emotion they experience is something other than mild bemusement.
It's like drinking sand. I like it. It's delicious.
You're just saying that to be different.
I bet you weren't expecting some hard-hitting sparkling water hot takes in your Peter Rabbit movie, but lucky you, here they are. Why are these two looking up as if they've been back to drinking the sparkling water after we clearly saw them gag on it earlier?
Bad seed.
That one. That's the one. You've nailed it.
What?
This entire movie is centered around Peter believing that he is a misunderstood but ultimately good rabbit. From the kid calling him naughty to McGregor blaming him for the broken window and stolen tomatoes, to now everyone thinking he's the bad seed. As far as setups for movies go, this is about as weak as, well, I'm just going to compare it to whatever the plot of the first movie was, but I honestly can't remember, and that probably does an even better job of making my point.
I also imagine his voice to be quite annoying.
What? My voice isn't annoying, right?
Now the movie is actively trying to get us to hate it. Cool, I'm game.
Here's how much we want to do this with you.
Not Bee, Thomas, or any of the rabbits spot this monstrous billboard as they approach. Marketing pounds well spent. As Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams played, a song familiar to all the 5 to 10-year-olds of 2021, I'm glad to see this sequel is continuing the tradition started by the first movie of picking songs at random that kind of suit what's happening on screen without having to worry about any underlying themes or creativity. Did I say glad? I don't think I meant glad. While characters down on their luck, a car splashes them, they get knocked in the face, fall into wet cement, and then run into a squirrel singing Green Day cliche. Also, just so we're clear, whoever splashed water on Peter did that shit intentionally. That puddle was all the way by the curb, and there's a frickin' road cone right before it. So the sin, as always, is other drivers. If Peter's paltry punch displaced this profound pack of propped-up peaches, the punishable party probably isn't the pesky perpetrator. The problem is plainly the proprietor's pathologically poor peach placement proficiency. Scene does not contain a danger mouse. Also, choosing to squeeze into a post box instead of continuing to outrun the human you can clearly outrun.
Where'd you get that jacket? It looks just like one my old friend used to have.
It was my dad's.
Oh, for the love of the Energizer Bunny. This is our villain, who's going to pretend he knows Peter's dad. Then later we're supposed to be surprised when he reveals he's the bad guy, isn't it? I'm adding 15 sins now for this contrived nonsense, so I don't have to think about it again.
Should this be in paper or plastic?
No one really knows.
Bet you weren't expecting some hard-hitting recycling hot takes in your Peter Rabbit movie, but lucky you, here they are. Rabbits do not have opposable thumbs. In fact, they don't have thumbs at all. They have toes. 5 non-opposable toes on their front feet. That's right, I said feet, not hands, feet. Just saying he shouldn't be able to grab the bottle, is all. So, cleaned up all the peaches.
I'd be spinning in my grave if it was ever adapted into some sassy hip fest purely for commercial gain. Probably by an American.
You can break as many fourth walls as you want, but having your characters acknowledge the flaws in the very premise of your movie does not give you a pass. In fact, it proves that you knew the shit you were trying to pull all along and did it anyway. Hang a lantern on your flaws all you like. That's the thing about sins. They're fireproof.
Sold 15 million copies. That's more than Dickens.
A Tale of Two Cities alone has sold over 200 million fucking copies. And I suppose the character could just be wrong, but this is kind of the point, right? The movie hasn't clearly told us if he's an idiot, a liar, or if they just used bad information to sell a plot point about art versus commercialism. Sorry, it's clearly not that last one.
This next part might get a little bumpy, but it's actually quite fun.
Saying this to someone when you aren't naked or on a roller coaster, or both. And now we enter the kids mistreat animals, but it's hilarious, and the animals apparently like it because they don't even try to escape for reasons montage. Holy shit, look at all those vegetables. This fridge is 85% produce. Are they stocking up for the school cornucopia competition? Preparing projectiles for an upcoming terrible 19th century stage performance? Have they been tasked with doing a meal for the National Convention of Salad Tossers? Why so many veggies? Also, which monster has started using this carton of milk when there is still a smaller carton up here that needs to be finished off?
It's usually just takeout containers and a bottle of champagne they're saving for a special occasion. That will never come.
I bet you weren't expecting some hard-hitting champagne hot takes in your Peter Rabbit movie, but lucky you, here they are. There are vegetables in the pan drawer as well. This family is filled with psychopaths.
Why do parents put it in there?
So teachers won't judge them.
I bet you weren't expecting some hard-hitting lunchbox hot takes and
Mighty nice haul, son.
How do we get it out of here?
maybe in the bag you were using that has somehow disappeared?
You lead her to the kitchen, I'll take care of her, you meet me back at the front door.
From these simple instructions, the gang thankfully manages to intuit that Peter wants them to put this rug here so that the monster will perfectly trip over it and home alone her way through the rest of the house.
I can't believe this is happening!
You should see the rest of the movie. Despite the evidence trail in her hand, the innocent victim will completely ignore the sound of the trap door closing and shall never be heard from again.
It's a gift. Terrible at foreign languages, great at cartoon violence.
All languages are foreign, dick-haired.
The rabbit comes out of the hole, round the tree, and back down the hole.
Wild. Out of the hole, round the tree, and back down the hole is exactly the thing my college girlfriend said when we were talking about common squirrel behavior. What?
You're the ones who should be wondering whether there's a private space that you can go to check whether you've wet yourselves.
None of you are wearing pants. Just look down.
Now, the question is, was he stealing, or was he just taking what was already his?
A deep and nuanced question that I'm sure we've all been waiting for a kids' movie with talking and belching rabbits to really take a crack at.
Oh, Peter, we've been looking all over for you.
And fortunately, the plot allowed us to find you in this random alley at this exact time. Vampire Weekend is now playing, and I swear the tone disparity in this soundtrack is like if Lord of the Rings had been scored by, now that's what I call Music 95.
What are you doing?
Ooh, doing some push-ups?
Actually, you're doing elevated push-ups in a scene that's supposed to indicate you don't actually work out and probably shouldn't, A, be able to do an elevated push-up, or B, even know what one is.
Name another book by Dickens.
Do another push-up.
I don't remember studying that one at school, but I suppose you're the Dickens expert, B.
Wake up, kids! Wake up! We have a job to do!
Waiting 38 minutes to reintroduce a gag from the first movie that wasn't funny in the first place.
I can frolic. You don't think I can frolic?
I didn't say that.
Domhnall Gleeson and Rose Byrne are such gifted actors they almost sell this meaningless conversation about a grown man debating his ability to roll down a hill. But then again, you made Domhnall Gleeson and Rose Byrne have a meaningless conversation about a grown man debating his ability to roll down a hill. Is the fox dragging the heavy rope across the yard while doing his workout? Shouldn't there be a weight or a hold at the end of that thing to do the wavy hand thing? You know what? I've never worked out, but he should probably be in a gym when he does that. Quit working out in public and making the rest of us feel bad.
Ugh, my trainer. Do I really need one? Probably not. Would a workout as hard without one? Probably not.
I bet you weren't expecting some hard-hitting personal trainer hot takes in your look. If this video is beginning to feel repetitive, I would simply refer you to the source material.
You actually did it.
Yep, because I think the movie wants to make some point about commercialism and selling out, but cares f*** all about leaving a shred of intelligence or dignity to its main characters.
Maybe put them on a beach. Give them surfboards. Those little baby guitars.
Ukuleles.
Shots fired at Lilo and Stitch. How dare you?
They sell lavender-scented bath bombs.
£10.
That thing weighs 3 pounds max. Plus, they don't even say pounds in England. They say stone. Sheer ignorance is astounding. Stirring your imaginary meal with the same spoon that you're pretending to imaginary taste test from.
Our target, the dried fruit.
Ocean's Fur Team here will embark on an overly complicated heist to secure large quantities of dried fruit that can be found and stolen from basically every supermarket in existence.
Why would you want that? Sounds gross.
Lasts forever.
The internet tells me that dried fruit should be consumed within 4 months and will go bad anytime after a year. While this might just cover the lifespan of your average rat, the longer-living rabbits and cats would likely need to attempt this heist again every year, so this is hardly the job to end all jobs. Take that, you stupid heist adventure story made for kids.
It's easy to transport and totally untraceable.
I'll admit, it's been a while since I read the books, but I don't remember quite so many overt drug trafficking references in my Peter Rabbit novels.
And it's not her actual Achilles heel.
I did not need to see a squirrel viciously bite into the Achilles heel of someone and leave a tooth in their leg while losing a different tooth from the impact. Movie is a dick to traumatophobics.
He always buys 2 sausages, one for him and one for his late wife.
We see this man pick up 4 sausages. Now, I would have accepted Samuel saying 2 links of sausages or skipping this pointless detail entirely.
But their parents didn't approve.
Whiskers, stay focused.
Bummer. It was nice seeing something that actually had an interesting plot for a few seconds. Can we be done with the Suicide Squad style character intros for a bit? I'm seeing them so much I'm actually getting tired of sitting them. Just give me like 10 years without any more of this shit, please. What is this apostrophe replacing in this name? Is his name Felix Dickier? Dextier? Did someone think this is funny and did hopefully end their career? Art O'Day.
Flashlight. And for our British friends, torch.
You are British. This book is British. You are in f***ing Britain. Why is everything so American, and stop drawing attention to it? This is the most infuriating joke in the entire movie, and that is impressive.
Come with me. I have something to show you.
You better come take a look at this cliche.
We think it's a phenomenon.
Do 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 do.
Phenomenon.
Do 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 do.
Phenomenon.
Do 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 do.
And I wanted to tell you to your face.
I'm heading to the gym for a few rounds. You box?
Cutting someone off mid-sentence to set up your "oh, isn't it funny that the nerdy Brit said he could box and will now be forced to reveal he can't in fact box" in hilarious fashion bit. That's actually a nice pratfall from Dom there, but The only reason he attempts to go over the top here is that the movie needs him to. No sane person does this. Movie characters do this.
Why did you tell Nigel that I didn't want his ideas?
Because one of them was for a rather predictable third-act conflict cliché, and I jolly well didn't want to give those rotten YouTubers any additional ammunition, I say.
This went on for a while.
Indeed, but so has almost everything in this movie, and you've never stepped in. Where were you when the movie decided to spend a full minute on a rooster with laryngitis having a life crisis because he realized he doesn't actually make the sun come up? Where were you then, narrator?
Peter, may I have a quick word? Are you sure about this?
If you don't want someone in a movie to hear you, just take a couple of steps to the left. Movie characters' hearing only works when within 2 feet and seen in frame. One of life's little mysteries. Also, waiting until seconds before the start of the heist to ask this. At this point in most heists, everything is already in motion and Matt Damon is screwing something up that we eventually learn was part of the plan all along. Because nothing is less suspicious than a well-dressed cat screaming cacaw from a bell tower in front of dozens of people. But is that the joke, though? Am I missing the joke? Is there a chance this movie has deadened me so much that I can't tell what's funny and what's just dumb? You don't know! So is the movie just not going to acknowledge this giant animal is on a roof? Or maybe at least acknowledge that no one in this entire farmer's market is acknowledging that there is a giant animal who somehow got on the roof? I just want the slightest bit of acknowledgement. Also, nobody sees the entire cast of the bonus on Windamia's amateur production of Watership Down storming the farmer's market. Or if they do, they don't seem to think it's at all odd. Wait, what the f was that? Did he just release silhouettes from a sign? Is this frog working for fucking Acme now? If so, why can't they just paint a black hole on the ground and get Bugs Bunny to tunnel to the damn dried fruit? So all of the initial sneaking around was pointless then? Because this little piggy is on a fucking rampage.
He's not a farmer.
Really? But he's dressed like one.
It's a style. Cultural appropriation.
Get it? Because he's appropriating farmer culture. And that's hilarious, because cultural appropriation is a joke. Get it? One more time for the back. Nobody notices or questions the fully grown deer just wandering around the farmer's market unattended. They're terrifying. There should be a mass panic and antler impalements aplenty. And of course, Thomas is there at this exact moment, and this all sets in motion some sort of plot-convenient Rube Limburg machine that results in maximum awkwardness and pathos, because of course it does. It's almost impressive how efficiently they've managed to suck the joy out of this story. I'm honestly beginning to wonder if this is a Matrix 4 situation and somebody is purposely sabotaging this movie too. Allegedly. Who was in charge of the time release rope on Felix's neck? I don't remember anyone going over that part of the plan.
We'll take it from here.
Obvious double cross is obvious.
Did Peter do this? He's not here, is he?
Maybe he really is a bad seed.
Sure, Peter's a jerk, but they are very quick to believe that he has knowingly allowed them to be captured by a pet shop just so he can steal dried fruit for a rabbit he met just days earlier.
Why did you do this?
And of course, he will now monologue his entire backstory, as criminals are prone to do at the drop of a hat. Spanking your piggy in public.
That is everything I have.
Under the General Data Protection Regulation law set out in 2016 by the European Union, a business can be fined 17 million euros, whatever they are, or 4% of their annual turnover for giving out confidential information like this. So unless that's what 17 million euros looks like, and it very well could be, I don't think this gentleman is giving up those addresses.
Manchester, London, Inverness, the Alps, they're everywhere.
Starbucks. Also, I love how half a dozen people all just happen to be in the pet store and take exactly the pets that we are concerned about within mere minutes of arriving. Apparently wildlife are the PS5s of the English economy.
All you do is tell me how bad I am.
Well then stop giving me reasons to. Wait, did you just talk?
Really excited to see the coherent and well thought out rules of this universe that allow this moment to happen. I'll start waiting for it now. Just let me know when it happens. I'll be right here. Also, he already knows Peter can talk. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Oh look, the fuel gauge is empty.
The fuel gauge contains all of its relevant components. The fuel tank, however, would appear to be empty. Movie wants me to believe that these people wouldn't be immediately tooting their horns at the Land Rover that has inexplicably stopped for no reason. They would immediately assume that it's just some jerk looking to inconvenience their day because some road rules are just universal.
I met someone who made me feel like not everything I did was wrong, who actually accepted me.
Because f*** you, B.
I know I'm too hard on you sometimes.
Does this movie think it's Paddington? I think this movie thinks it's Paddington.
Please stop this wreck! No! 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 No!
Did they just replay the same voice take 4 times in a row? Was that the same no? Let's listen again.
No! 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 No!
Yep. Either that's the exact same no, or Dom decided to just stop acting. Either way, sin, 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 sin. Bunny Puffs may be the laziest tie-in cereal I've ever seen. Speaking of which, keep an eye out for the all-new CinemaSins branded cereal, Punny Puffs. No writer should start their day of wordplay without it. I won't play it for you because it goes on for way too long, but these executives are now pitching an ending to her book where the rabbits are all kidnapped and have to plan an escape and get revenge on the bad guys. I think this movie thinks it's self-aware with this meta commentary, but I'm not sure the movie is aware that this self-awareness is coming off as actual earnestness, in which case I just became aware that the movie is unself-aware about its own self-awareness.
There's no boat chasers or skiing in my world, and there's certainly no rabbits jumping out of planes.
If this movie doesn't end with a boat chase, skiing, and rabbits jumping out of planes, I will eat a porcupine ass first.
Your books will never go anywhere without me.
Man, those heel turns happen fast, huh? He went from supportive to asshole so fast, I'm surprised he didn't just hold up a sign that said, "I'm the villain, surprise." Also, no one was surprised.
This is the last the world will ever hear about Peter Rabbit.
Never have I ever rooted so hard for the villain to be right.
I promised to Mrs. Stew.
And you're making it out here on your boat? And you're going to transport it back home after you've started cooking it? And you haven't even gutted and cleaned the rabbit yet? Is that a Kermit the Frog reference? With the wavy hands thing? Dang it, movie, if you're making a joke, I should know it. She's gonna swing from the wire right here, right here. Also, this is not how brake lights, porcupines, or comedy works. This movie ends with our heroes tying small animals to the back of a car to be dragged along the street at high speeds. And was there not one person in the room who was like, maybe not?
I finally realized what made me different. I'm the narrator of these stories.
I suppose it isn't a post-credit scene if it doesn't give unnecessary information that no one needed or could have waited until the sequel to learn. Also, Flopsy isn't explaining this to me while in a bubble bath holding a glass of champagne.
You're about to become compost.
Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Aura monitors the dark web for your personal information, gives you near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries, and keeps your browsing history safe and encrypted with their VPN, all from one easy-to-use app. Imagine trying to log into your email one day only to see the password had changed hours ago, and then you start getting notifications of activity from your bank, credit cards, crypto accounts, etc. That's a scary and unfortunate reality for many people, but it doesn't have to be yours. Use our link, aura.com/cinemasins, and utilize a free 2-week trial. Link is in the description.
Father?
I am your father.
Have you tried jogging?
What's jogging?
I believe it's jogging or yogging. It might be a soft J. I'm not sure, but apparently you just run.
I'm gonna live forever!
I'm the king of the world!
Made of rocks, as you can see, but don't let that intimidate you. You don't need to be afraid unless you're made of scissors.
What's your name, stud?
Vincent! Adult man?
Then I guess we're both in quite a similar position.
Haven't you met lots of new people before?
None like you.
As you wish!
Come with me if you want to live.
Caw-caw! Caw-caw!
I think we've established that caca and tuki don't work.
I finally realized what made me different.
Got it? Okay. Now f*** off.